Hey guys, this is John. I'm going to do a quick review of Rise of Nightmares for the Kinect. It came out last year. I'm just going to pick a quick chapter. I've already finished the game. There's actually multiple playthroughs. I want to show some truths and that there's some false myths coming around about Rise of Nightmares. First off, the menu is kind of weird, but it does make sense. See how I'm switching? That's how you switch. Kind of a little bit of a disco thing, you know, but anyway, it's clunky, it's weird, but movement's a little awkward at first, but it's actually a lot of fun. It's a first-person shooter style game. I really do like Rise of Nightmares. You'll see I can move, just step forward, and you kind of turn your shoulders. You can see it's a little clunky here and there. It doesn't seem the most smooth if you watch me play, but you will get better. One thing that was funny is Angry Joe was playing with younger Joe, and he really wasn't playing the game properly. Go figure. And, you know, they give you certain context to stuff you got to do too. You really got to block. It is relatively challenging, but it's not really the controls that are challenging. It's not quite one-to-one. It's pretty close, but not quite one-to-one. But the melee's fun. One weird thing is you never can dual wield, and the game never really takes itself all that seriously. And it moves very slow. You can see me, I'm able to move without too much of a problem, but it is definitely a little bit slow. You kind of slowly approach people. You know, the difficulty does ramp up. Certain enemies require, you know, different attack patterns. Ooh, I'm gonna lose. You step backwards to go back. So and then you use your hand to interact with an item. Oh, guess I better be careful here. Oh, he'll be a fun item if I can get his weapon. You know, it looks like and it really isn't all that complex. It is basically, but the items are what makes the game. You know, it's a real gory first-person shooter style game. It's kind of like House of the Dead. If I'm going to give this a review, I would give this. I'm going to pause it so you can see a little gameplay up closer. It's corny. It really is. I would give this game a 7 out of 10. It's really good. It's a heck of a lot better than oh, wait, was it? No. You can see it was doing things because I was stepping away. See how the menu's a little bit clunky? It's still better than Sonic Freeriders, but it's definitely a little odd. Graphics are pretty bad, but it's really not that type of game. You do have the ability to auto walk if you raise your right hand. I'm not auto walking right now. This is a game that people can't get in your way either. If they do, it basically makes it unplayable. You see how you gotta cover your ears? It's like a context sensitive. Nice thing is you can keep your ears covered and still walk. It's pretty gory. Graphics are kind of cheesy. You can interact with objects. You never can dual wield. You always have one hand kind of busy. But one nice thing is if you use the auto walk, he kind of takes you where you're supposed to go next. So I'm using the auto walk right now. So I can see where I gotta go. Yeah, it's definitely a strange game. There's some plot twists. So it's kind of a neat game. Like I said, I give it a 7 out of 10. It's a neat game because it's really a one of a kind. You're not going to play any other game like this on the Kinect. So I'm going to play another minute or so. It gets a 7 out of 10 for me. The graphics aren't very good. The voice acting's horrible, but it's kind of meant to be. it's meant to be kind of like a throwback to really bad movies back in their era, horror movies, and in that aspect as well. But the story is kind of engaging, actually. You're basically you're on a train, kind of like the movie Hostel, and there's a bunch of weird stuff going on, and basically you're on that train, your wife or whatever gets kidnapped, and you're a drunk named Josh, and she gets kidnapped by this awful monster, and you're in the woods with all these other people that survived this train wreck, and you walk around, then you go to this guy's mansion who's named Victor, and you're basically just trying to figure out, what the heck happened. So, it's a fun game. It's by far probably not the greatest game ever, but you can see the movement, and the controls are real good for the Kinect. It really is. I was so mad watching Angry Joe. He wasn't playing the game right. There's so many weapons, there's no way he couldn't find a weapon to pick up. He was basically intentionally trolling the game. They went out and tried to prove it, as awful as it was. You can see it actually does move pretty smoothly, and most of the stuff you've heard about the game's BS. See how many items there are? And you actually make the natural gestures, if you will, to use them. There's just a ton of weapons in this game. You can throw things, the chainsaw is probably my favorite. You hold it like a chainsaw. It really is a neat game. I'm using the auto walk. You don't really get tired. If you go out and you fight with your fist or something and just kick and fight, yeah, you'll be tired, because it's not how you're meant to play the game. There's a plethora of weapons. It's pretty fun. It's fortunately there's no serious backtracking or anything. I can't seem to find the key, but you got a pipe. So I gotta find the key, but I'm not gonna do it. I've already played the game. Storyline's kind of neat. There's some plot twists. It's basically a first-person shooter for the Kinect. We're 1 foot forward and use your shoulders to move, as I'm doing right now. You can see, IGN said you couldn't walk straight. I seem to be doing pretty good. Let me walk straight here. See? I can walk straight. Let's go and turn right here. Turn left. So you can see the controls aren't busted. Once again, it's caused from people that don't know how to play Kinect games. It's a little clunky, I'm not going to lie to you. You can walk backwards just by taking a step back. And, it's definitely, it would have been nice if it would have included a controller, but because the game's so generic, it wouldn't have been fun with a controller. It had to be a Kinect game. As a Kinect game, it's a decent Kinect game. It's getting a 7 out of 10 from John. It's got okay graphics, campy storyline, and voice acting, but it's fun. It's from, I think, some of the original developers is House of the Dead. Kind of reminds you of it. It's a fun zombie game. There's some replayability. It's rather short, though. You'll finish the game in about 5 hours, but you can replay it at harder difficulties. That's actually probably my biggest problem with the game. I don't consider that replay. I don't think you should have to replay a game to add depth to the game. It should have been longer. 7 out of 10 from John. That was Rise of Nightmares. Thanks a lot.